Rumor has it that there is a mysterious island in the South Pacific inhabited entirely by women. It is known as the Virgin Island. It is also thought that the women clan possesses a mysterious seed that causes them to age 10 times slower than normal humans. As a result, many people are attempting to locate the island. One of them is Mr. Song, who wishes to become immortal and has dispatched a team of experts and explorers to search for the island. Wang, the film's protagonist, is listening to a news report about Mr. Song, who has once again funded a large sum of money for his expedition to find Virgin Island. The news then goes on to discuss the island's mystery, revealing that none of the explorers who have participated in the expedition thus far have survived. Only one person, a famous explorer named Li, has ever set foot on the island. Li is Wang's father, but he never returned from the island and left no message for the world or his son. It is said that he was captivated by the island's beauty and decided to settle there permanently. Wang, determined to find his father, decides to join Mr. Song's expedition and travels to the coast to board a ship. There, he meets a friend, Chun Hua, who claims to be an expert navigator after graduating from the Somali Navy SEAL. Wang and Hyun board the ship after everything is in order, and just as they are about to take off, one of Mr. Song's men approaches them and hands them a GPS tracker. After a while, the two finally made it to the ocean, kicking off their adventure. They are initially optimistic about the mission, but after 2 months of wandering into nothingness, they become pessimistic. Their food supply has also run out by this point, so they hope to reach the island soon. A flock of birds flies over the boys one day while they are complaining about the GPS not working. Wang, who is lying on his back, feels a drip on his face and realizes it's seagull poo when he smells it. This indicates that they are close to an island, which Wang confirms with his binoculars and shares with his friend. Unfortunately, the high tides prevent the boys from docking their ship, forcing them to swim the entire distance. When the two friends wake up on the beach in the following scene, they notice an army of women surrounding them. While still not fully conscious, Wang inquires if they have arrived on the Virgin Island, but the women continue to stare and remain silent. Later, the two are taken to their camp for questioning. Hyun, as usual, becomes overconfident and attempts smack talk with the women, only to be beaten with a durian stick. As a result of the incident, the boys are being punished by being locked inside a wooden cage. Meanwhile, the women's leader, known as the Patriarch, approaches the two and begins talking. She mentions that only a few people have breached their island in the last 500 years, but they were all experienced navigators. Hyun is surprised that the girls have been around for so long and jokes about whether they are truly immortal. The Patriarch and her women, on the other hand, simply leave them behind and go about their business. Wang pulls out his hidden knife and plots with Hyun to flee at nightfall once the women are out of sight. They carry out their plan and eventually escape from prison. Following this, Wang decides to investigate the tribe for any hints, while Hyun sets out to find ways to leave the island. The next scene shows Hyun exploring the jungle for a way out, while Wang arrives at the women's village and enters one of the huts. The women have filled the jungle with traps, and Hyun Woo unknowingly falls for them. He first falls down a rabbit hole below and is then pierced on the back by a wooden arrow. To make matters worse, he is pelted with several coconuts on his head. Meanwhile, Muyan, an innocent girl from the women's tribe, and her sister Moon enter the hut where Wang has been snooping around. Surprisingly, the hut serves as a bathing facility for the islanders, and when Muyan begins taking off her clothes and preparing for her bath, Wang attempts to sneak out of the room. Unfortunately, he is apprehended by the girl's sister, who does not let him go. Wang tries to bribe the girl with a treat, but she screams, alerting all of the other women in the village. Wang flees for his life, terrified, as the women pursue him with spears. He tries everything he can to scare them away, but he is eventually apprehended. In the trial room, the Patriarch informs Wang that escaping from a prison is a sin in their culture, and that attempting to attack the clan will result in death. Just then, a bruised and battered Hyun arrives to save his friend. He threatens the clan by claiming to be a trained soldier with combat skills, but his lies irritate the women, who beat him once more. The clan believes that being seen naked by a man makes them look ugly. As a result, they demand that Wang and his friend be executed. But before preparing the boys for their final rites, the Patriarch wonders why they came to her island. Wang responds that he is looking for his father, who arrived on the island 10 years ago. To his surprise, the Patriarch reveals that she has met his father and is looking for him as well. She threatens to kill his father if she ever sees him again. She orders her women to take the perpetrators to their sacred tree and grill them there. Hyun begs the women to let him go because he wasn't the one who saw Myu-Yan in such a state, but they refuse. The women then prepare for the grill, while the boys are tied and kept separate in two massive barrels. Hyun is concerned that they are being marinated before being roasted, but he is cut off by Myu-Yan, who has finally confronted her pervert. She lashes out at Wang for spying on her and tells him that she must kill him to break the curse of being ugly. However, just as she appears to be about to finish him off with a knife, she cuts open his rope. Before allowing the two to flee, Myu-Yan declares that she despises Wang but does not want him to die because of her. Unfortunately, the boys follow the jungle's lead and fall victim to the set traps. The next morning, Wang and Hyun are apprehended and bound in front of the sacred tree. The women prepare various ingredients and light a fire to marinate the boys before roasting them. However, the process is halted when Chun Hua, one of the clan's women, drowns in the sea. While the women rush to the shore, the boys take advantage of the situation by burning their tight ropes. They flee the scene as well, unaware that they have set fire to the sacred tree. Meanwhile, the women sob in agony after witnessing their friend struggle in the sea. The two friends plan to use the distraction to sneak out of the building, but Wang changes his mind at the last minute and decides to help the drowning girl. Wang goes to the shore and swims in the ocean to save Chun Hua, not thinking about the time when the islanders wanted to kill him and his friend. Hyun leaps into action after returning her to the shore and performing CPR on an unconscious Chun Hua. Fortunately, she resumes her breathing, and the women applaud the boys' bravery. Wang and Hyun are later brought before the Patriarch once more. Chun Hua requests that her leader excuse the boys because they saved her life. She has already begun to develop feelings for Hyun at this point. The Patriarch considers pardoning the boys, but then she learns that their sacred tree has been burned and destroyed. The Patriarch decides to execute Wang and Hyun immediately after learning that they are the perpetrators of this incident. Myu-Yan and Chun Hua, on the other hand, suggest they give the boys one more chance. As a result, the Patriarch gives them 3 months to restore the tree, which they do reluctantly. They will be mercilessly killed if the tree does not resurrect. Wang and Hyun work hard the next day to remove the charcoal from the tree and water it. As time passes, the boys grow close to the women because they assist them in their daily lives. Wang and Hyun catch large fish and teach them how to grow vegetables using modern tools and techniques. Meanwhile, Chun Hua makes an effort to attract Hyun's attention by bringing him flowers and durian every day. When Wang is trying to find a signal on his GPS one day, he notices a viper snake lurking behind Myu-Yan. He immediately leaps into action and saves her. Myu-Yan reveals that the snake is her pet as the two lie down in a romantic manner. Wang and Hyun are overjoyed to discover the sacred tree sprouting the next day. Later that night, all of the island women and boys celebrate with a feast and a dance. Wang notices Myu-Yan dancing peacefully and remarks that the value of life isn't measured by the length of time, but by something worth protecting with your life. He then remarks that he is fortunate to have discovered it because he wishes to protect Myu-Yan and her tribe. Myu-Yan approaches Wang later and tells him about their tribe's history. She explains that there was once an all-women tribe known as the Witch Tribe. Parthenogenesis was used to reproduce them. They were the primitive human tribe closest to nature, in charge of guarding the seed yuan, which contained the secrets of life. Their mission was to preserve the delicate balance of nature and life. However, as human settlements grew, so did their thirst for killing, and one day they discovered the seed yuan. As a result, the witch tribe was subjected to genocide like hunting. To protect the seed, the clan's leader gave it to the tribe's youngest woman and told her to flee as far as she could. The girl witnessed her entire family being murdered, but she managed to flee the scene. Soon after, she awoke on a deserted island to find the seed she had carried sprouting all over the place. The desolate island gradually came to life. As the girl grew older, a new witch clan grew on the island, continuing to guard the yuan seed. Myu-Yan then reveals that the young woman is Patriarch, and they are both descended from the witch clan. The next morning, she takes Wang to the location where she last saw his father. Wang discovers his father's old journal, in which he wrote about his time with the witch clan. He writes that he did not want the expedition to destroy their life because of their warm gesture, kindness, simplicity, and reverence for life. So he never returned, hoping that the clan and their life secrets would remain safe from the greed of modern men. He then concludes his journal, expressing his concern for Wang and hoping that his son will understand his decisions. Wang realizes what he must do in the following scene, and Straw is the GPS tracker. But before he and Hyun can leave, they hear a beep from the GPS, indicating that it is still operational. Mr. Song is informed of the island's location elsewhere. The boys then rush to the Patriarch and warn her that Mr. Song and his men are on their way to retrieve the seed that they have been guarding. They then devise a strategy to seduce, lure, and eliminate the men one by one. Mr. Song soon arrives with his crew and orders 4 of his men to search the island. When the men arrive in the village, they are surprised to find beautiful women awaiting them. The women then play their part, getting the men drunk and successfully knocking them out. After his men fail to return, Mr. Song goes into the island and begins inspecting. Wang and Hyun meet him at the gate and try to persuade him that he isn't after the Virgin Island. Mr. Song, however, is no fool and orders his men to bind the women and the 2 boys. He then threatens the Patriarch and requests the secret of life from her in order to become immortal like them. Mr. Song threatens to kill Moon if she does not comply. As a result, the women reluctantly lead Mr. Song and his men to the location where the Yuan seed has been hidden. However, when Chun Hua knocks down a man on the way, the entire tribe fights back. Meanwhile, Mr. Song flees with Wang, forcing him to wear a time bomb. He then threatens to detonate it if he does not reveal the witch clan's secret. Just then, Hyun and the women arrive on the scene and apprehend Mr. Song. During the process, however, Mr. Song manages to press the button, triggering a 30-second countdown on the bomb. With time running out, Wang realizes he must make the ultimate sacrifice and runs alone towards the ocean. Wang's mind is racing with ideas as he runs. After all of his encounters with the women's clan, he realizes that their mission is to preserve the delicate balance of nature and life. He also recognizes his father's sacrifice at the time. Now he must make the same sacrifice in order to protect the clan. The bomb soon explodes in the sea. When Nguyen sees this, he screams in agony, while the others mourn the loss of the man who has made the ultimate sacrifice. The screen then goes black. Wang is shown miraculously waking up in the post-credits scene, as if the island's magic has resurrected him for his selfless sacrifice. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the recap. Let us know in the comments what you thought. And while you're here, consider subscribing. We would love to have you as part of our community.